Scott Clarke. I'm one of the co-founders of Claim. Claim is a marketplace that allows small businesses at the moment in India to be able to create their own offers to get customers in store. At the moment, we're purely a bricks and mortar base because we felt that there was a gap in that market. You know, everyone's being driven online to Amazon and other deal sites within India, yet 97% of the Indian population still shop in store. And that was a huge gap in the market there. Our ultimate goal is to offer both online and offline. And we're in the process of working through a cashback system for customers. We're looking at a couple of different options around that to encourage further spending within what I like to call the Claim ecosystem. I had all of this stuff inside my head. I knew what it would look like in 5 to 10 years. I guess I just didn't know where to start. And it really was quite overwhelming. What I found, the process that I worked through, was to write it all down, make sure that I had everything covered. And then it was more just a brain dump with my partner at the time, a business partner, around what was his view of it. Were we on the same page? I think that's probably one of the most important things. You don't necessarily have to agree on everything with your partner, but you need to make sure that, you know, we're heading in the same direction. But I think the biggest thing was just feeling so overwhelmed. Where do I start? Who can I turn to? Because I really had no experience with this. So it was like, oh my God, who can help me? I had split with the original founder. He decided he wanted to walk away. At that point, I had Eric and Nick jump in. And Eric was very much, he was a perfect founder because he was very technical and he had those programming skills. So he was able just to jump in and go, hey, rather than talk about it, this is what I've done. But I think one of the most challenges that I think I had is more around that I had this vision in my head of what I wanted, and where Eric had said, well, you know, this is our MVP. And look, I'm familiar with, and I'd worked with MVPs before, but I guess when it's your own, you know, baby, you want to put it out there to the world and say, look, my baby's just born, but he can run. And I think that was a good experience, kind of throttling back, going, let's put that out there, see if it works. We did a lot of testing and learning, so that's probably one of the biggest things that sticks with me. You know, we'll throw that out there, see if it works. If not, we'll try something else. I think the biggest thing from version 1 is we went in with the concept that businesses would adopt this and they would do all the work themselves, you know, to create their own offers and push them out. I think part of our misconception was we went through Groupon list and looked at businesses that were using Groupons and Kudos and all of that. The problem is these businesses were prepared to give up as much as they were to Groupon because they either had no marketing skills and wanted someone to do it for them, or they just were time poor. And that was one of the misconceptions that we had. And that kind of led to the pivot around, well, you know what, it's not as important for them to be able to create and push out their own marketing offers. It's great if they do it, but I think it's more about having control and not being dictated to by some faceless monopoly. We kind of thought that's what they did want. Yeah. What they did like is the ability to control who received the offer. You know, one of the first pieces of feedback that we got, and it was from our very first customer, she was a beautician and she used to do her services out of home. And she said, I really love the fact that I can choose that females only get my offers. She said, because I don't feel safe to have men coming around to the house, particularly when she was doing after hours stuff. So that's kind of what we started to focus on, you know, the whole targeting piece. you get so attached to what you think the market wants, and then the market comes back and tells you, mate, you got it wrong. So we understood that we needed to shift, but I think what we didn't understand and where we needed that direction, and where I felt working with the guys at Engenesis and where the Engenesis framework came in, is it allowed us to really hone in on what our core offering was. Because I still vividly remember our first session, and we threw up all of these different ideas, and there was about 6 different offerings that we could have covered, a marketing platform, a deal platform, whole lot of stuff. And we kind of started to think through it and pare it back, and that gave us a lot more clarity for our second round of offering. The biggest thing that we got to do was kind of work out whether we were focusing on business side or the customer side. I think we came to a middle ground on that, in that we needed an offering for customers, and we also needed something for the business, because I guess that was our biggest challenge in trying to build up that two-way marketplace. And I think the customer side was easy to nail. The customer side was, well, they want bargains. They want to be rewarded for shopping. With the business side, that was a bit of a challenge. And it took us a couple of goes to get that right. And by that, I mean actually going out and talking to business owners. Where I say where we did the pivot, we not only pivoted what we were offering, we also pivoted countries. So our initial POC was within Australia. Between starting that and kind of realising that we need to pivot and tailor it, Nick had left as a partner, and we brought a new partner in, Sandeep, who was from India. And he kind of said, well, guys, there's 1 billion people there. The population of Delhi is bigger than Australia. So we kind of went, well, weight of numbers. We also learned that you can't rely on weight of numbers. You need to have something that is enticing, because weight of numbers means that there's also a lot more competition. Everyone's trying to get in on those numbers. So we were really able to nail what we were going to charge for it. In our initial offering, what we expected was that we would charge a business once a customer redeemed an offer. The issue with that is we kind of decided that we weren't going to charge anything up front. So realistically, there's no commitment on the customer's behalf. They're not paying any money. If they don't redeem, no loss. Which, it didn't affect the business because they weren't paying anything. It affected us because we weren't generating any revenue. So we kind of had a look at different models, and the model that we settled on was charging 5,000 rupee, which is about $100 Australian a month for the businesses. We had no challenge getting businesses to sign up to that. They were quite prepared to. The reason we set that price point is we'd done a lot of research on some of the other companies over there, so your Just Dials and Nearby, etc. And they were charging up to 400 Australian, per month. So we kind of went, well, let's start at 100, at least for our proof of concept, and then we can look at, what the propensity is of businesses to sign up and pay that. We decided to keep it within a small area within Delhi, and within 2 days we had 16 vendors signed up, prepared to pay the $100. Our next challenge was then getting customers within Delhi, and that turned into a big challenge. So I think what we looked at as part of this whole cost modelling was what was our cost to acquire a customer. We looked at it through Facebook, going through the Engenesis framework. We were able to break down what percentage of customers convert through Facebook, what are the keywords, what are the costs per click, and we came up with, off the top of my head, I can't remember the number, it was ridiculous. It was like $200 and something to acquire a customer. And we originally were looking at charging as a percentage of sale. And we worked out our average sale was maybe $20. So we were losing $260 on every sale, and it just wasn't viable. So what we had to do then is really look at key areas of marketing and targeting. And we kind of went, well, what can we, if we reduce it down, what can we get it to? We kind of got it down to about $70 to acquire a number of customers. And we kind of settled on, $100 per month. So the marketing cost to all these businesses would have been $70 to acquire multiple customers. If we hadn't addressed the issue of what we were going to charge, we would have just ploughed on, kept investing our money, other people's money. Eventually that well would have run dry and we would have had no choice but to fold. I think one of the important things for any entrepreneur is it's all good to have, pie in the sky figures about how much revenue you're going to generate, but you need to be real with it. You need to sit down, you need to look at the numbers. What's it going to cost me to acquire a customer? What's it going to cost me to, maintain whatever my product or service is? So without a doubt, had we not gone through that part of the framework, we wouldn't be here today. We would not be still running Claim. You have to be passionate. You have to be thick-skinned. And by that, I mean it two ways. You need to be able to take constructive criticism because that's the only way you're going to grow and you're going to learn. For example, I had a close friend whose family lives in Delhi, and I was telling him about Claim. He looked at it and he said, I don't understand. Do I take it into the store or do I get it online? Okay, that's great. We thought we knew, but your customers don't. And I got lucky. I had a customer that I knew that told me. Your customers aren't going to tell you, particularly if you're not a big brand. They're just going to leave and go, no, I don't like it. So that's, one of the things that you need to be able to take. You need to be able to take that feedback. You need to also be able to fail and accept failure and just use it as a learning experience because that's all it is. And, you made that mistake, pick yourself up, dust yourself off and move on. I remember Ash coming in and challenging us quite a lot. And I think that was quite deliberate in that he attended some sessions but removed himself from others or would come in later in sessions. And I think by him not being involved in that, he was able to challenge us because there was no emotion in that for him. And I think that's what you need. You need a mentor or a third party that can have no vested interest and can come in and go, but what about this? This doesn't make sense to me. That helped us a lot during the process because, we were heading off on, down a path that potentially we wouldn't be here today had, Ash or anyone else from Engenesis kind of said to us, no, I don't think that works. I don't understand that. How's this? So you very much, Engenesis put themselves in the customer's shoes for us. And that was really, and when I say customer, I mean on both sides. So from a business and a consumer perspective. One of the biggest things with us as well is we were bootstrapping. So we had to kind of look for where the best value was in terms of sales and marketing. And that kind of made us aware of, not the shotgun approach, so we were very targeted with the areas that we were going to go to. So we chose a region in Delhi, and then we chose to target consumers within that area. We did it a number of ways. So we did some face-to-face marketing, and that literally was, standing outside of stores going, hey, do you shop here regularly? Would you like to get discounts from them? Hey, sign up. We did learn that we needed a little bit of hand-holding. And look, we're probably in a fortunate position in that labour costs in India aren't as as high as Australia. So we were able to get people to go out with, iPads or Samsungs or whatever and sign up businesses directly, sign up customers directly. So we were getting that kind of instant feedback. I would say to anyone though that you need to take your sales and marketing seriously. Don't just kind of take a shotgun approach to it, because the thing is, it's going to cost you a lot of money, and you're probably not going to get the results you want. And I can tell you from experience that is really disheartening. The best sales and marketing tool that we've had is using family and friends first up. And we're in a fortunate position in that, one of the partners is Indian and has got a lot of family in India. So he kind of, we get them through the door, and it kind of gives they're getting a bargain, and it gives the businesses, some faith that we're going to deliver for them. I think the key that I can give any entrepreneur going through this is you need a couple of qualities. And I think one of those is you need patience, you need persistence, you need to tell yourself, if this doesn't work, my life's going to be good anyway. It took me a while to get that one, because I was just so invested in this. And to the point where I was, starting to neglect family and friends and things like that. And since I kind of took that step back, it's been much easier. The second piece of advice, particularly when you're dealing with offshore vendors or overseas developers, etc., do your due diligence. Don't take their word for it. Ask for references. We, on our most recent launch, got really badly burnt using a marketing company that had committed to 200 sign-ups in a month. And when we got around to checking the sign-ups, Eric and myself I think this shows that we're in sync as founders. I was on there looking at where all these sign-ups were coming, and then within 10 minutes he called me and said, it's all from the same IP address. And I said, yeah, well, I'm looking at the region, and Sandeep tells me that the region is 1,000 kilometres away from Delhi. So something strange is going on. We put it to the marketing company that it was his staff just going on and signing up. And I suspect that's the truth, because we never heard from him again. We're kind of lucky because we hadn't paid him everything. We kind of held money back until he hit the KPIs. But it was a valuable lesson learned. Because not only, look, I'm not worried about the money. What I'm more angry about and frustrated at is we're back to square one. We need to go now and start again. I often mention to both Eric and Sandeep that I loved coming down here on our Tuesday mornings. The thing that I got out of this was just clarity. I had so much going on in my head around, future releases and functionality, that it was good to go through the Genesis process, because it kind of went, well, come back here, and pulled me back into line, got me thinking about, well, what are you actually going to launch with? Because you can spend all this time focusing on, it's going to do this, it's going to do that. That's all you do. You don't actually deliver anything. So that was the biggest benefit that I got, just the absolute clarity out of it. I think for anyone that is considering this and is a little bit unsure, come in and talk to the guys from Engenesis. And look, I'm sure that you'll get the same feeling that we got, which was, hey, let's go through this process.
Awesome.
Look, working through the Genesis framework was exciting, definitely exciting for us, because we kind of hadn't had that chance to look at everything from start to finish. So, products, who's our customers, what are we going to offer first up, sales and marketing, what are we going to charge? We considered it, but it was more, let's just throw our data at the board and see what hits. There were challenges. because we were really pushed by the Engenesis guys to think and come up with marketing strategies. A lot of it was, you can't expect to come in here and have them tell you everything because it's your business. And they really pushed us to start to think about things that we hadn't. So, yeah, it was exciting, but yeah, it was definitely challenging.